listeners. Welcome to another podcast. We are on episode 2 of our podcast. We are shooting for every Monday, every other Monday. I haven't decided yet, so we're just rolling with the punches, seeing where our guests decide to fill in and fill out. Today is an awesome episode. I'm super duper excited. I have with me a very good friend of mine. His name is Thomas. Say hello.
Hello, everybody.
Our episode today is actually on positive thinking. Being positive thinking, what we can do to continuously be positive in our lives. As world changers, it's a huge responsibility for us to actively change the world. But the biggest thing I think, and I know Tom feels the same way, is that being positive can change yours and others' lives. So Tom has his real name is Thomas. I call him Tom. He's a good friend of mine. So I don't know if you guys can call him Tom, but we'll talk about it. I'm gonna kind of let him give you a kind of a background, and then we will start the show. So take it away.
First of all, coffee is a good way. It makes me very positive. Coffee is always good, especially first thing in the morning. You know, you want to be positive when you start your day. So for as long as I can remember, coffee is how I start my positive day.
I can't. It gives me the poops.
Well, that's all right.
I can't do it.
So I walk around with coffee, especially in the morning. It's part of my image, I guess. But my background is I've worked for a really large company for almost 30 years where I had to coach people in sales and marketing. And if to be successful in business, you better be positive. Because if not, you're not going to last very long in that business, or at least in not that career. So that's where I come into play with my experience and having started with people. And the most successful people I ever worked with were the ones that had the most positive attitude. And they really didn't require a lot of coaching or input because they approached life with the idea they were going to get to where they wanted to go because they woke up most days saying, this is what's going to happen. They actually believed it.
Yeah.
And there's a little saying I keep on my desk at home is that two things can happen. You're going to be right either way. You're either going to say, this is going to happen because I believe it's going to happen. So to be successful, let's say when I was in college, I wrestled. So it was a mind thing, especially on one-on-one sports. And if I was in the mindset like I was going to win, I was going to win.
You got a better chance of winning.
But if I was even a little bit worried about winning, there's a little doubt whether I could beat this guy, I lost.
Yeah.
Pretty as simple as that. So I was right either way.
Yeah.
So you might as well be on the positive side of that.
100%. That is a wonderful intro. I think that's great. So yeah, we're going to cover just a couple things. Basically, how we like to do this podcast is this is a safe space for us to conversate and go about our day. That's why we kind of have the camera right there so that we can talk to you guys right there. And you can feel like you're really involved in the conversation. So positive thinking is a huge thing for me. I wouldn't be this far without it. I have suffered loss and the grieving process, and I'm starting my own business, and there's been downfalls with that, as my friend here knows. And it's so easy to just give up. People say it's so easy to give up. I think it's hard to give up, because once you have that vision of what you want your life to be, how can you just give up? How can you just give that up? So positive thinking is a huge role in every single person's life. And, people struggle with their mental health and depression, and it's all very real things. But how do we change that? How do we switch the dynamic? How do you wake up in the morning and you say, oh, I just can't do it today, versus, man, what is going to happen today? And that is what this episode is going to try to bring. We're going to talk about many things, whether it's how positive thinking can impact your life versus your friends and family and others around you lives, the mindset that you should be in, and how you're going to achieve your dreams with that mindset. I mean, you could dream to be a doctor, but you think that you have, just like he said, I can't do it. School is too hard. I can't do it. If you doubt yourself right from the get-go, you're never going to make it to where you want to be. And that's, as world changers, it's our job to lift you guys up. So I hope this episode is helpful for you. I hope you get a lot of, thoughts and feelings about the interactions that we're going to have today. And I just hope you guys enjoy it. So I think that we should maybe start with, what are some things that you do to positively impact your mindset?
Well, you'd mentioned something. You wake up in the morning, that can really set the pace for your whole day. if you're struggling with some things, maybe you've had some turmoil in your life, and I know you did, even with some of the business setbacks you had earlier this year, and even some of your personal life situations. Sometimes the night before, when you're laying in bed, it's not a bad idea to think about the next day, but think about what you're going to do to make it more positive. Lay there in bed, say, what can I do tomorrow morning, besides just have a cup of coffee, that I can do activity-wise or project-wise or something to make it constructive, you know, with how you're going to approach the day. So I think if you get it off to the good start first thing in the morning, the rest of the day should take care of itself in many ways. It may not, but at least it's a good beginning of your day, and you won't dwell on maybe some of the problems you've got going on. And part of that is when you have a big challenge in front of you, sometimes it seems overwhelming because of the size. What you should do the night before is just pick part of it.
Yeah.
Just do a little bit on that project or that problem or that personal issue you're dealing with, and do that first thing in the morning. You don't have to do it all at once if it's that overwhelming. So
Yeah.
that's the way you can look at it. But the other thing you can do is also count on other people. I have found in my own personal experience that I like to surround myself with positive people, because there are people out there that don't want you to succeed necessarily, not intentionally, but just because of their attitude and how they approach life.
Yeah.
So if you find yourself, you know, maybe I would say, we hate the word depressed, but you're just not making any progress with where you want to go into your dreams, your goals, or even your daily routine, get somebody in your life that's going to help perk you up.
Yeah.
You know, that's when I was in business and sales, I had, and Peyton and I were talking about that a little bit earlier, the people that were my best salespeople, the most successful people in my business, were very positive. They didn't need a lot of coaching because they approached every day with such an attitude, but they did also have their down days. And that's where I had to come in
Exactly.
as a coach to
Lift them up
kick
again.
their butts and say, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
And even though they may have made some mistakes or they had lost some business, you don't dwell on that. And you know, I could have beat them up for losing business, and sometimes justifiably I did. But at the same time, as soon as I did that, as a good coach and as a good friend in some of my cases of my salespeople, it was my job to get them out of that doldrums and have them move forward. Don't look back, look ahead.
100%. I when you say that you start the morning with coffee, it's funny. Something that I like to do the night before is I lay out my outfit for the next day. Because then I'm excited. I'm like, okay, I get to wear my new leggings, insulated leggings tomorrow. I'm so excited.
For Peyton, that's like 4 layers.
It literally saved my life. We live in Minnesota. We have to layer up. And so it's just like, it's just little things that we can do to just like, and I love to sleep. Tom knows this. I love to sleep. I could sleep. It takes me a little while to go to bed because my brain, I got pretty severe ADHD. My brain is always rolling, whether it's I gotta clean, I gotta write something down, I gotta do some work, whatever. My brain's always rolling. But I love to sleep in. And recently, I have been kicking myself up in the morning, and instead of getting up and, you know, letting my dogs out and run to work and then coming home and going back to sleep, I've been staying awake. So I wake up at 6 a.m., you know, I do what I have to do. I come home. I take my dog. It's like 7 in the morning by the time I get back. I take my dogs for a walk outside. I got a cool double leash. There you go. That's for your mental health right there. Do things that make you happy. Mine is my animals, and I got a double leash that hooks both of them up to one leash. Game changer. I love it. And I'm just trying to... If I want myself to be as successful as the business I'm building, the person I want to be, I need to start making those adjustments. You know, I want to wake up in the morning. I want to work out. I want to go for a run with my dogs. I want to do work. You know, I don't want to sleep the morning away and then feel like I have to rush in everything during the day. Or like people that stay up really late at night. You can get work done at night. I don't think that there's anything wrong with it.
People have different body clocks.
Yeah, there's different body clocks for sure. Me personally, as soon as 12 o'clock friggin' a.m. hits, count me out. I need a bed right now. I need to go to bed. I have friends that'll stay up till 8 in the morning. I could not do that. Absolutely not. I need to sleep because I like to be up when the sun is up. I like another positive thing. I like the sunshine on my face. I like to feel that warmth. And even if it's like a rainy day, we'll go dance in the rain. Like, you can always make the best out of bad situations. And I've always been like this.
Well, that's why people go to sunrises and you take pictures of sunrises, or you get up
hike
early,
on a sunrise, yeah.
or even a sunset. It's a positive feeling. I mean, I just saw your Happy New Year. You start off the new year, even though Christmas is a fun time and you have a lot of good time, it's again your mindset. Why do we do a Happy New Year? Because it's positive.
It's supposed to be.
Even though sometimes you're not feeling the best on New Year's Day, but you're starting off with the whole idea that it's going to be a Happy New Year, which in the concept in and itself is positive.
Exactly.
And you're
100%.
thinking the new year is going to be a good year. You don't go, hopefully, for most of us, you're not going to go in the new year going, this is going to be a horrible year. For some reasons it might be, because it could be a health issue or something. You know it's going to be a rough year. But that's when you have that challenge, and as good friends, if you have people that you're aware of, they're going to have a rough new year, or a rough new week, or a rough new day, that's why you can expand your world a little bit and have a world changer come in that's positive, and try to do something to lift your spirits up.
Exactly.
And people will sometimes say to you, like, why aren't you down? Maybe you lost a football game or whatever. Why aren't you bummed about it? That's wasted energy in my mind. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't go back and fix it. What you can do is say, hey,
What about next week?
What about next week? And if it's an individual that's having challenges, there's no reason two of you be miserable. That's not going to make it plus.
Yeah.
You need to help, if nothing else, be empathetic, you can be compassionate, but you're going to have to try to, I think, from my personal experience, to say, okay, they're being miserable. And I know this from my buddy here. She's had some tough times. Why should I go into the tank with her if she's having a rough week? That's not going to solve any problems. I can say, yeah, I can see why this week is horrible. But at the same time, get over it.
Let's get out. Let's go for a hike. Let's go for a dog walk. Let's do these things. And that brings us right to the topic of the impact of others, and the impact of the positive thinking that has on others, or negative thinking that has on others. I mean, when I was in school, I've always been a positive, energetic person. I remember we're at my niece's birthday party, and I met a little girl that had as much energy as me, and and everyone was like, oh, that little girl's kind of annoying. And I was like, that is exactly what I am like. That is exactly what I grew up being like. And you know, I did suffer from bullying and that type of thing, but I never let it defeat me. You know, I never let it. And sure, there was days that I was like, Mom, I cannot go to school. I really cannot deal with these people today. And she was like, okay. And some days she'd be like, suck it up and go.
Yeah.
And then that day at school, there would be a dog that came to school. Right. I would have missed that dog if I didn't go. So it's like, you know, I never thought that I was ever going to be in high school. All I wanted was that group. You know, you saw girls and guys, and they had that solidified group, and I maybe had like one or two friends. You know, I was friends with everybody, but I didn't really like the people I was going to school with. They were bullies, they were mean girls or mean guys, and whatever it was. And, you know, I got out of college, and I started to find my people, and I started to realize that the people that I was gravitating towards, maybe a few years in college, it was a little dicey. And I was kind of just going with the flow, trying to fit in. But after that, I started realizing that I want to be friends with world changers, because I myself am and want to be the best world changer that I can be. And you can't do that when, you know, like, for example, if you want to say you smoke, whatever you smoke, whether it's cigarettes or whatever. If you keep hanging around people that smoke, are you ever going to quit? Probably not. It's probably really unlikely, because every time they smoke, you're going to be like, oh, I should do that. They're doing it. It's okay. Or if you're hanging around people that are constantly getting drunk and drinking, you're not going to stop drinking. And that's going to cause a negative impact in your life. We have to put ourselves, and, you know, you might be alone for a little bit. You might be a loner. You might not have any friends for a while, but that's good, because you need to rebuild who you are supposed to be. And I remember being like that, and I remember being bummed, and, you know, you see all these people, they go out and they have a good time with their friends, but are those real friends that they're having, or are those people that they can party with?
Well, it's like continuing to build on the impact of others and surrounding yourself with positive people. In business, we call it networking, and you know, I've had these conversations, and it's truly amazing if you start surrounding yourself with people that as you expand your contacts within, whether it's your social life or your professional life, how they can keep coming back and adding so positively to your life. And I'm thinking just of the sheer number of people since I met Peyton, since she started working in her business, that through my interaction with Peyton and our friendship, who I've been able to introduce you to so many other people that in itself may on any given day not have an impact in your life, but all of a sudden maybe some of our friends like Tracy and Lindsay, people just pop in sometimes when you don't least expect it, and they can have an impact on whatever decision you're making professionally and socially and personally.
100%. I'm a grandma to a bunch of
super auntie.
Yeah, somebody that I never thought I would even get the pleasure of meeting is now a part of my family, and that is super cool. I can grandpa and grandma over here to 7 beautiful puppies, and I get to see them on a regular basis, and it's just there's so many opportunities when you're positive.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy because, I'm a talker. Everyone knows that. I talk. I freaking started a podcast.
Tom doesn't talk, does
Yeah,
he?
I started a podcast so I could literally hear myself talk.
That's why we're letting her talk right now, because normally I'd be doing all the talking.
And, no, I've always been a talker, but I couldn't ever imagine being not outgoing. And there's a lot of introverts out there, but when they find their people, they turn into an extrovert and they out there. But honestly, you don't have to be like outgoing, like in your face, like I am, but you can be like, hey, let me hold this door open for you, or let me help you pick that up or something. And you just doing that will literally change somebody's day, and that is you being an extrovert just a little bit more.
Or change an experience.
I
can think of a perfect example of my friend Peyton here. We were on a road trip, and she was making a significant other in her life a little miserable one day because he forgot to pack her clothes.
My entire suitcase on a vacation, he forgot.
And we're in South Dakota, and we realized that, we're in the Badlands.
I said, I need to change because it's 90 degrees and I'm in sweatpants.
And she says, where's that? What color bag was it? Whatever color it was. Yeah. And we're looking around, you're like, I don't think it made it in the car. So in the course of the day, and I know Peyton pretty well, and I know her personality, but yet she was pretty down, and she was making Harold's life a little rough. So I finally said, that's enough.
He pulled me to the side and he said, get it together. He said, you know what? Yes.
Harold feels miserable enough.
He feels bad enough, and you're making it worse. And when he looks back at this memory, he's going to remember it as you being upset with him. Not that we're in beautiful Badlands of North Dakota? South Dakota. We're in the beautiful Badlands because Tom and I had previously taken a trip to the Badlands, and it was incredible. My first time there, I woke up and from our long car ride, 15 hours?
Yeah.
And I literally slept the whole way. And I woke up to this amazing view, and now I was letting the person I love experience this, but I was mad because I didn't have any clothes or a hairbrush or I brought a football, and I couldn't even play football in the Badlands. So I was really upset, and Tom was like,
take a time out.
He's like, you're being selfish. And it hit me so hard. It hit me like a truck. And, I realized in that moment that I could ruin this experience, I could ruin this trip, or we could make it work. We'll figure it out, and
it became part of the adventure.
It did become part of the adventure.
Because we did eventually get our clothes.
We're looking for clothes. We're looking how to get the bag to me because we had another 6 days ahead of us, and it could have been worse.
But bottom line is what we were talking about earlier brings us back to one of the topics you and I talked about earlier. Because you made that decision after our little timeout conversation, you had more fun.
Exactly.
So it had a positive impact on you.
And
Harold definitely had, as well as the rest of us, rather than hearing you whine.
Rather than hear me go, oh, I wish I had my tennis shoes. It was...
So you can sometimes you just need, even with somebody that if you're having a rough day, it's okay to have a frank conversation with them, especially if they're a good friend, because they're not going to feel too defensive. You're just saying, you need to change this because if you do this, this is going to be the outcome, and it's going to be a positive outcome. And that's what you're looking for.
And we need that. And we need to be open on both sides, whether it's like my friend needs me to have this conversation with them, or I need to listen to my friend having this conversation, because it's a matter of are you going to make a memory that's upsetting and sad and depressing, or are you going to be like, dude, do you remember that time in the Badlands? It was so much fun. And that brings us on to our next topic of the making memories. a lot of people will be hermits and they'll stay in their house, and especially since COVID, you know, a lot of people don't like to go out. But like, I'm not talking about going out to a bar, or like, if you don't want to be around drinking, don't. But go on an adventure. Get that serotonin in your mind. Go do something that you love to do. Go for a bike ride. Go roller skating. Do something that you want to do.
When I was in business, I had to relocate to several different cities, of which I knew nobody. Absolutely nobody. My
hard.
family wasn't with me. I just remember moving like St. Louis or Denver or New Orleans, Denver in particular, which is such an exciting place in Colorado. And, you know, when you have a life where you get out at the end of the week and the weekends, the phones, people say, what do you want to do this weekend? What do you do this weekend? And when you first move to a new town by yourself, and I'm saying this for people that are somewhat staying at home, sheltered life, how to change that or change your world, be a world changer, you got to take the initiative. I mean, if you're waiting for somebody to knock on your door or call you up, because I remember first couple weeks there, my phone wouldn't even ring. Nobody on earth knew I existed in Denver, Colorado. So you have choices to make. You can either choose to stay, I'm going to here wallow in my misery, or I can call somebody up, take the initiative, say, I know we just met. You want to just grab a cup of coffee, have a beer? Just, you got to take the initiative. Other things you can do is, like you say, get out in the real world. I joined the Colorado Mountain Club because it's shared experiences. People like to be outdoors.
Yeah.
You have to join some things. And I'm not a big joiner. I don't join clubs. I don't join things in general in groups because I'm so independent. But you have to take the initiative because I've been there. I moved to cities. I didn't know anybody. Nobody. And I'm a little more extroverted than some people, but I'm an extroverted introvert. It still took a voice to jump in. You know, you need to jump out into the world and take a little bit of risk.
Yeah.
And you have to be okay. Not everybody's going to say, yeah, I'll go out with you, or I'll go out and hang out with you. No. And try not to take it personal. Just move on to the next person. That person may not have a positive impact in your life anyways. So,
Yeah.
but surround yourself with, if you can, with people in your life's journey that are going to continue to have a positive impact on you.
100%. And you can hear my dog barking. He's being positively impacted by somebody walking by our house and saying, don't come in. My mom's podcasting, which is so thoughtful of him. I'm just so happy that he has decided to talk in this.
But the other thing is, you know, some people are closer to their families than others, and sometimes families can be very, some members of your family can be very downers, you know,
Yeah,
and that's
I've
true in a lot
experienced
of families. Mine, I'm sure Peyton's got a few people in her family, you know, and that's hard when you have family members that way. But then other time you have to seek out the people in your family that are positive. I am 100% certain Peyton is 100% positive influence on her family. Maybe not her brother so much on occasion when she's got to keep him in line, but generally speaking, I've got to believe just on how she approaches her days and how she interacts with her family. And this doesn't happen all the time. I think what I've observed, and I've known Peyton for like 5 years, it's just been the last
Almost
couple of
6.
years she's really started to integrate herself back in with her family. And that's a normal cycle for people. I was the same way when you're a teenager in your early college years. You're out there.
I'm like, let me
Family's
live.
almost secondary. It's like,
let
I
me
need to
live
be
my life.
exposed to this and get beat up a little bit. And after you've been out there for a while, you're like, you know, there's certain things of my family that I miss.
I'm like, I need my mom.
Yeah.
I was like, in high school, I was like, man.
Mom was reining you in.
Yeah, I was like, I don't need you to do that. Let me cut that cord.
So
And now I'm like wrapping her
don't cut
in
your family
yarn.
short. The families are important. I know my children are important to me, and my parents have been long gone, but you know, I still think about the positive things they had an impact in my life, and then even more so as you get older, as some of your family starts drifting away because they move farther away. Like all my kids are a long ways away. Your friends become your family.
Yeah.
And that is just as good as a great amount of impact in my life positively as any family member can be on any given day. There's certain people in my life that all it takes is a good morning, a text message, and I don't even need a big story to come back. I was like just a smile that comes back or morning back at you, and that will make my day. And it could do that. You could do that with other people. You never know if they're having a bad day. Maybe it's somebody that you haven't seen for a while, but you always
memories are always
you always
so
had a good time with them. Hey, just put hey, morning to you.
Exactly.
Just leave it at that. And you may be surprised on the positive impact that would have, especially to start somebody's day.
I 100% agree. Even you know, there's people in my past that you know, whether I could have blown up on them, we could have gotten to a squirrel, you know, or a squirrel,
Coral.
squirrel,
Squirrel.
squirrel,
Yeah.
a coral or something, and they might have been holding that resentment for many years, and I didn't apologize, and you know, we never had the conversation, and that was negatively impacting their lives. So now, I mean, I reach out to everybody. I either, if I see you on the street, or I run into you, or I just see you have a Facebook post, and I like to message those people and say, hey, you know, I'm thinking about you. I would like to apologize for any way that I've acted previously in my life. You know, I literally knew nothing, thought I knew everything, was fighting my own demons while also trying to fight yours, and that's not fair. And I just want to be that person when you're down that you reach out to and you say, I need someone to talk to. And I love to be that person because, one, I could talk forever.
Yes.
And two, I just really want people to understand that it's about the memories, it's about the positive impacts, it's about staying positive and doing things that you like. It's about taking care of yourself, you know, physically and mentally, because that's a huge thing. Because how are you going to do any of those things to achieve any of your dreams if you don't consistently work at it? And that is what brings us to our next point about, you know, the dreams that you're having and the goals and achievements that you want to go and you want to do in the future. You're not going to get there by saying, I can never do that. And, you know, I'm a clear example of it. I started my business, the idea 4 years ago. And I've had the idea for 5 years, but I actually started doing something about it 4 years ago. Went into, you know, business is hard. Realized that, got smacked in the face, trusted people that maybe I shouldn't have trusted. Well, for sure shouldn't have trusted. But, you know, there was a moment in time where I was, you know, I just got scammed out of like $8,000. I was sobbing. I was like, I'm done. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to run this business. I'm not good enough to change the world. I can't do this. And my good friend Tom is one of the people that, you know, I picked up the phone and I cried on the phone to. And he's like, you know, in small sense, he's like, shut up. You know you're good enough. You know you can do it. There's bad people out there. There are people that are going to take advantage of you for sure. But what are you going to do about it? Are you going to roll over and just take it? Or are you going to fight back? And we did. And we fought back. And we're a year later.
Better for it.
Better for it. I'm smarter for it. I'm much more of a
business savvy.
Yeah, business savvy. I know that I need to know who I'm working with and not just give them money and say, help me. And now we're months away from launching the biggest project of my whole life, and I'm going to watch my dreams come true right in front of me. And none of that would have been possible if I would have had a negative mindset. If I would have got scammed and said, I'm done. I give up. I can't do this. I'll never be able to do this. And that is so important. So if you have a dream, go and do it. You know, my mom used to say, oh, well, one, she says, you can't say you're going to change the world. That's too much pressure on yourself. And it is a lot of pressure. But
every little bit. You never know. You never know.
You never know. Because I'm not saying that, you know, I'm going to change the world drastically tomorrow. But every day, I'm going to change the world. And if I can get all of my world changers to help me change the world, we are going to change it so much faster. And people, you know, they say that there's not enough world changers. There are millions and millions of people, good people in this world. And I won't lose hope in them. I mean, we can't be negative.
Yeah, and negative people I've found in my life, and they're out there. Don't get me wrong. I'm trying to be practical and realistic here. They're out there. I saw them in business. I see them in my personal life. We meet some of those people just about every day. If you really open up your ears, you'll hear them. And those people are the ones that are judgmental. They judge people, and they don't even know the person's history. They know nothing about that person's journey or anything about their life, but they'll judge people. People that live on fear, and they're looking in the rearview mirror the whole time. You can't keep going to the past. You really... You know, you have to stay away from fear. There's people that have really a lot of anger, and for some reason maybe the anger is justified, but they have not moved on into a more positive experience. So they need to start thinking about, they're never going to get out of that anger mode unless they start getting more positive. And angry people usually want other people to be angry with them, and they create a fear environment, and a hatred environment, and a mean environment, a judgmental environment. If you find yourself within that circle of friends, get the hell out of there, because they're going to do nothing but drag you down. Try to surround yourself and take them one friend at a time.
Yeah.
That one positive friend probably has other positive friends, and you start finding that group of people, and it's amazing how the synergism of that will impact your life. So move out of that. If you got friends that aren't real positive, start working on that aspect of your life. Find the ones that are.
Exactly. I mean, look at my wedding party. 10 years ago, I didn't know any single one of those people. No,
Right.
no,
Well,
Emily. Emily's coming up on
Yeah.
like 8 years now, so she's close. But I didn't know one of those people. I never thought I was going to have that group. But one by one, we started meeting people that were so positive that we're like, we should hang out more. Started hanging out more, boom, you're a friggin' groomsman and bridesmaid in my wedding. Like, that is so impactful. And that brings me to another topic. We still have a little bit of time. And that brings me to, I was saying earlier that I'm getting better at gauging when I'm doing too much for people and I'm being taken advantage of.
Or enabling people.
Or, I do things, I like to give love. That's just who I am. Whether it's acts of service, I like helping people. I literally just got back from shoveling an enormous amount of dog poop at my brother's house because he asked me to, and I would love to help you with that.
Peyton.
And next time he asks me, am I going to charge him like friggin' $1 turd per turd? Yeah, probably.
Get his attention.
Yeah, those dogs are going to get bigger, and I'm going to be shoveling. I need a bigger shovel. And, those type of things are so, it makes me feel so good. Like, I don't do it just for you. I do it for myself.
And that's part of positive thinking, too. You'll be surprised the impact it does if you can have a positive influence in somebody else. And that's why I like interacting with my friend Peyton here, because it makes me feel good. If you can do something positive. One thing Peyton, in the time that I've known her, that she does very well as a human being, she gives a lot of second chances.
That's true.
But
Third, fourth, fifth, sixth,
at
seventh.
some point in time, you can only do that for so long. And that's
Yeah.
a hard decision to make, because you let these people get to a point where they're not having a reciprocating positive impact on your life. Now you're feeling guilty because they're not having, their lives aren't going well, and you feeling like, well, I've tried, and I've given this chance, and some of the things they've done have been selfishly impacted your life in a negative way. So it's good to give people second chances. Don't get me wrong, but at some point in time, it's third, fourth, and fifth chances. Maybe that's time you need to get some space from those individuals. I mean, I know that sounds selfish, but for your own mental health and well-being, I keep coming back to the circle of keep those people around you that are going to have a positive influence on you.
As somebody who has experienced that, where I've just been, I have had those friends in my
Take
life
advantage of you
where I was just getting taken advantage of, and I don't know if it was intentional or not, but I believe that friendship it's a give and take, you need me, I'm going to be there type of deal, and I'm going to keep being there, but for when I need you, and you say, oh, I can't be there, I don't want to be there for you, then it's selfish of you, and it's selfish of me for wanting that friendship, but I want that friendship. That is why I decided to branch out and make you my friend, because I need that friend. And we all go through things, and if I've been there for you countless of times, I expect you to be there for me because you love me and you don't want to see me in that bad place or that sad place. And I've had friends that have done that, and I'm not necessarily not friends with them anymore, but like Tom said, I've taken a step back. I don't rely on them to come through if they say they're gonna. I don't rely on them to do things that they say they want to do, because I just know realistically it's not going to happen. That doesn't make me sad. That doesn't make me upset. It used to, for sure, 100%. But now, as I've grown, and I know that everybody has their own stuff, but they're just not a part of my immediate circle. And now we're talking my immediate circle. We're talking about my groomsmen and my bridesmaids. I could call all 5 of my bridesmaids right now And I guarantee you they're going to pick up and they're going to go, what's wrong? What's going on?
Well, it's still going full circle as we talked about several of the topics that we've decided we wanted to touch base with today. Your friends and family do have such a positive impact on you, and if you can count on them, especially, it's easy to be positive if the days are going good. It's when you have some more challenging times in your life, if you have that resource and those people around you that you can know that are going to help lift you up.
Because we need it.
Because
We're
you need
human.
it. We all do.
We're only human.
Yeah. And I've seen that with family and friends, and if that's sort of been, as I've gotten older, I've become even more positive, and yet in my lifetime I've seen a lot of nasty stuff, and I've experienced some major down things in my personal life as well as professional life. But as you get older, you realize how much wasted energy that type of being down is. And so having experienced that, it's always easier to be on the outside looking in is to encourage somebody else. It's always easier because you don't have the personal circumstances that are impacting you. So if you get the opportunity, do it. Help somebody else get out of the doldrums or their down period or whatever, because it's to make you feel better. And it's probably going to have a positive impact on them too.
I completely agree. I think that is a great way to end our session. I think that sums up our entire podcast today. I really am in love with being positive. I couldn't imagine, there's some days where, if I'm on my period and my cramps hurt, I just want to die. Like, it's just not good. Or, my dog drug me down a trail in the woods trying to catch a deer. I'm not going to be not going to be super happy about it. But you know what? At the end, which that has happened, if you're wondering.
Or a dog that's ripped up my house or takes a dump in my house.
Or when I take my dogs to Tom's house and they decide and they don't go potty inside, but they decide to poop right on his bedroom floor. Love it. And you can't do anything but laugh as you're cleaning up giant piles of poop. Because that is just, life is not going to be easy.
Hell of a way to end a podcast talking about dog poop, right? Isn't that a casual way to do it? I like to think about, start today with a cup of coffee.
End it with a pile of dog poop. Life is never going to be easy. It won't be. I hate to tell you it. It might be when, you figured out your dream and you're living your life, your best life. Great. Live your life. But it's not, anything that is worth fighting for is not going to be easy. So get that out of your head that you're just going to get life handed to you. You're not. And we have to work for it, but that's why we have each other. And that's why we, as World Changers, are reaching out to you with these podcasts and my streams on Twitch and my TikToks, because we want to be that positive impact. I have a friend in Belgium, actually, that I met him through stream, and he's a very good friend. I've sent him money before, and people are like, don't send money. But no, he needed it. He needed to eat food. And I wanted to help in whatever way I could, and whether it was $5 or $10, he would always say, no, please don't send me money. Like, I want you to spend it on yourself. And it's like, if I can be that positive person in your life, you can be that positive impact on others' lives. And that is the giant circle of life, as the Lion King would say. So it's incredible. I'm so thankful that I have all of you to share with. I'm so thankful that I have amazing guests. I mean, this is only our second podcast, and what an amazing journey already. We've talked about respect, and we've talked about the power of positivity. I cannot wait to see what we have next. I can't wait for Tom to come back on. Thank you so much for coming. I seriously appreciate it. But I just want you all to know that if you ever need somebody or you need that helping hand, we have a Discord that we have for World Changers, that we're all connected, and we have these things so that you feel safe. And that's what this podcast is. And did you feel safe?
Very safe.
That's all I can ask for. So I think I'm good.
I'm good.
All right. Well, have a wonderful day, and we will see you next week. So